are here tonight, not only as a candidate, but as an advocate for MID. You've worked for MID for like 34 years or something.
35 years and 2 weeks.
Not to put too fine a point on it, right?
I wanted to make sure that I had those extra 2 weeks in,
Yeah.
so I wanted to make sure I had that 35 years in all the way.
Good. You've worked at MID, and you have been to every single board meeting over the last
5.5 years.
Yeah, so you kind of know what's going on down there.
Yeah, I do.
So what is going on? They just did a $1.2 million settlement. And are we, the ratepayers, going to end up having that assessed to our bills?
Well, obviously we are, and somewhere that deal went south, and I confronted the board about it at the last board meeting, and of course I confront them, but all I do is make comments. I get a 5-minute comment period, and I got up and made a comment that obviously somebody dropped the ball on this deal. To pay out $1.2 million, obviously something went wrong, and I don't know what wrong went behind closed doors. That's never been revealed to me, but obviously something did.
And we, the ratepayers, are going to end up having it assessed to our MID bills?
Absolutely. Anything that MID spends goes right to the ratepayer.
Speaking of spending and ratepayer, there is talk about a water sale to San Francisco to the tune of 50,000 acres
Well,
of square feet of water or
yeah,
something?
50,000 acre feet is what I think you're referring to, although that is hearsay. What I know of it, what I know of that water sale is that there isn't one. There really hasn't. The MID board has not come out and said we're going to have a water sale. They have not done that. Now what they're going to do now is they're going to have 4 water meetings starting tomorrow night, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And they're going to have 4 water where the public's invited to these meetings, and they should attend because that's where they're going to come clean and tell us what they have in mind. Apparently they have something in mind, but I've never heard that, except what I read in the Modesto Bee, and I attend the board meeting. So no board member or staff has come to me and said, we're going to sell water. So I couldn't answer that. I'd hate to talk hearsay, but if that's going on, that's not a good thing for the farmers and for the city of Modesto. Not at this point, because we're right in the middle of the relicensing of Don Pedro, and the timing is off. We have several entities that are after our water, and that's telling these entities, if they're going to sell water, that we have water to sell, and they want that water. Our timing's way off. We should have, if this was an issue, it should have came up after this relicensing. If they're talking about selling water, it shouldn't be during this relicensing. This puts us at risk. In my eyes, this puts the district at risk. And that's an asset. Water is a great asset that we own, Modesto Irrigation District. When a company starts selling off their assets, that's not a good thing.
Now these meetings over the next 4 evenings?
Yes, starting tomorrow evening. Tomorrow night I'll be at Old Fisherman's Club.
Is that the one out on Mays Avenue?
Yes, it
Mays
is.
Boulevard? Okay.
Wednesday morning will be at the MID boardroom.
And that's downtown Modesto.
Downtown
right?
Modesto.
Okay. Is that on 10th Street or 11th Street?
That's on 11th Street.
Okay.
Thursday morning, or Thursday evening will be at Del Rio. Let's take that back now. Wednesday evening will be at Del Rio, not at the MID boardroom. Thursday morning will be at the MID boardroom, and Thursday evening will be at the Waterford Community Center. That's
Okay.
where all 4 meetings will be.
Okay, so it's going to kind of move around.
Yes,
So, okay.
that way they get all the areas in the MID district, and people have a chance to go and express their opinion and find out what's going on.
Now, are the same topics going to be discussed at each of the meetings? So if you go to one, you've kind of covered everything, or do you need to go to all 4?
Well, I'm going to all 4 because I'm fully engaged there. I don't miss anything. I don't miss workshops. I want to know if there's something different being said. I want to know. I want to be in the know. I'm not running for this I'm not running for this this wasn't a shot in the dark. This took a lot of, thought, sitting down with my family and friends and my neighboring ranchers. They asked me if I would step up to the plate because I'm so fully engaged in MID and know so much. They thought I'd be a great candidate for this position. And I will be. I'm doing this for the ratepayer. It's not about me.
How's your campaign going?
My campaign's going real well.
I noticed you wore your boots tonight. The other day I saw you in tennis shoes.
Well, that was my second pair of tennis shoes, and they're almost wore out. I actually walked 5,700 homes in 11 weeks, and I've been out there knocking on the doors, and I want people to put a face with a name, and if they have questions, and a lot of people have questions, and their two major questions is water sales, which is I can tell them that I'm against water sales, but we have to go through these water meetings first to find out what's going on. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, make assumptions, go by hearsay. We need to get the facts on the table. And their next big concern is electric rates. Our electric rates are astronomical at MID. We used to be the lowest in California. Now we're bumped up against PG&E. We're among the highest in just 15 years.
I know.
Something drastically happened bad here. And to go along with that,
Believe me, I know.
to go along with that, not only have our electric rates gone through the ceiling, but our debt has too. We've actually over doubled our debt in the last 8 years. Today, we're standing at a $937 million debt.
MID is.
Modesto Irrigation is sitting with a $937 million debt.
Well, you've been going to these board meetings for the last 5.5 years. Have you seen anything in those 5+ years that has indicated why they have such a huge debt?
Yes, I have. They've made a not. I don't want to necessarily bash MID because I think it's a good organization. It was meant always to be a good organization for over 100 years, but I think in the last 15 years we've fallen apart. They've made some major mistakes. They should have never gone into the 4 cities. They should have never gone to Mountain House. We can't turn back the clock. I can't go out here and offer these ratepayers pie in the sky. I can't do that. But maybe we can stop this train. We cannot make bad investments like that. I think it was big egos. I think they were going after something they should have left alone. We're a unique, wealthy little utility sitting here taking care of our farming industry and taking care of our electric ratepayers and taking care of the city of Modesto in terms of water. That was a good move when MID started selling water to the city of Modesto and treating water, Tuolumne River water. That was a good move for the city of Modesto. They needed that. Their aquifers come up 30 feet since they stopped pumping water. They don't run as many pumps. They're drinking surface water. They treated the Modesto Reservoir. That's a good thing. Now, all that's a good thing. But there was the mistakes are costing ratepayers, though. When I say $937 million, who's going to pay for that? The ratepayers. So that's why these rates are going up. I think they ought to stop increasing these rates. It's just like taxes. When you increase taxes, the economy gets worse. It doesn't get better. Well, it's the same with these rates. And these rates right now, if you keep raising these rates, the industrial and the business end of the business, they don't want to be here. You notice Blue Diamond's going to build another plant, but where are they going to build it? On the other side of the river. They're not going to build it in MID territory.
Yeah, they're going to Turlock.
They're going to Turlock, where the rates are much cheaper. And that's where maybe the city of Modesto, I have brainstorming and have ideas. If I get on that board, if we can get the city of Modesto to work with the MID and get some incentives where we can get industry and business, where we can give them breaks on their power. Hey, we're not selling any power anyway, okay? So we might as well get industries in here and give them a break on their power so they'll build here, and we can get more industry in the city of Modesto. At one time we had all these packing houses, we had all these canneries. They're all gone.
Does the industries, do they pay the same amount as the residential ratepayers?
The industry gets a little bit cheaper of a rate, not much. Now the electric, the residential right now is at 15 cents a kilowatt for your first 800 kilowatts, and 18 cents, anything over 500. The industrial end of it, I can't quite quote that.
Do you know what PG&E is charging right now?
PG&E's right there too.
They're comparable with MID?
They're comparable with MID.
I thought they were a little bit lower.
I think we're right. Well, I got the graph and I didn't bring it with me, but I have the graph and the line, the blue and the red line, which is PG&E blue and we're red, we're touching each other. So we're right there.
Where is the ratepayer to go if they're done with this high utility bill, water bill, electric bill? Where can we go? Is there another game in town, or is MID the only one?
MID's the only one. They're a little bit trapped. I think that MID, if they stop increasing these rates, we can hang in there. They've got to stop it though. They have to cut back on their budget. First of all, $445 million budget. Cut that budget. Whatever it takes to cut that budget so you don't increase rates. If you could cut $50 million, $25 million out of that budget and shove it toward that debt and do that for a few years. No capital improvements. Just go into a maintenance mode. We don't really need a lot of capital improvements anyway. We have a Cadillac system out there as it is. I know firsthand. I worked in the electric division. I worked in the water division. They actually had a consulting firm go through our whole water system, which is 210 miles of canal. And when they got through with this consulting firm, their findings was, and the quote unquote, you have a Cadillac system at MID. Well, leave the infrastructure alone then. There's no excuses to be talking about infrastructure if we have a Cadillac system. Let's get that debt paid down without raising rates, because you're going to just run more industry out of here. You can't do that to them. You need that industry here.
Now, you were talking about budget. What is the pension like? Is that eating away at their savings or accumulating that debt? The pension that the people get after serving on the board? And what about you as a employee? As an employee for
35 years.
And 2 weeks.
Okay, I'll tell you, rank and file pension at MID. I worked there 35 years, retired 5.5 years ago, and I'm not afraid to tell you, my pension's $3,000 a month. That's pretty moderate for a 35-year service. Is the pension eating away at MID? I'd say no. A matter of fact, MID's total cost for employee benefits and employee wages is less than 15% of their total budget. City of Modesto can't say that. Stanislaus County can't say that. Very few organizations can say that.
Now, what about the board directors? And that's what they're called, correct?
Yeah, board of directors.
Okay. Do they receive some sort of pension?
Yes,
or
they
payment?
do. I did address that issue. Top management and the board, it may be a little inflated there. And that's an issue that we're going to have to really think hard about. If you're a board member for 5 years, that entitles you to lifetime benefits and a retirement. I had to work 35 years to get that. But a board member is a board member for 5 years and they get lifetime health benefits.
Now, do they receive a salary too, the board members?
You know,
I mean, not board members, board directors.
Board of directors receive a salary, and you know something? I don't know what it is. I know it's not very, honestly, I've never asked. I've never asked.
I find that humorous because you're running for the position, and
Right.
I would think that
No.
would be one of the first things that you would find out, but.
No, because I don't care about that. Honestly, Athens, that never entered my mind. And matter of fact, Dave Lopez asked me that out in the green room earlier. And I said, Dave, I'm telling you, I don't know what a board of director makes. I do know this, that they get something like $1,975 a month in benefits. You know, that's health, optical, dental. I said, I know they get that. I said, but as far as pay, I said, if it is, it's small. I know that because I would know. Somebody would have told me. So it must not be much to that. I'm just being perfectly honest. I don't know what the pay is for a board of. I've never asked that question. I just did. It never entered my mind. Whatever it is, it can't be enough to take care of what it's going to cost me to be a board member.
And why is that?
Well, because I'm going to have to take that time off to be active with my community and with the board, and I'm a full-time rancher, so I'm going to have to take time out of my ranching business to do that.
Yeah, I noticed you're wearing your ranch, what do you call this? outfit?
Oh, well, I'm wearing
You're
my
working
boots.
your
This is
clothes?
my work clothes,
Okay.
yeah. Well,
What
kind of.
kind
I dressed a little better tonight. My pants aren't as faded as normal. But, yeah, I cowboy for a living. Actually, I run a large cattle operation, cow-calf operation in eastern Stanislaus County. And my son and I are partners in an almond orchard that I own with my son. So we farm 65 acres of almonds, and I run a lot of cattle.
Now, a couple things that you mentioned during this interview was the aquifer and 65 acres just now of almond orchards.
Yes.
Explain what an aquifer is and tell us how much water it takes to water like 1 square acre of almond of an almond orchard.
Well, one acre is.
And can we get the aquifer water to the almond orchards, or do we need to use surface water, or what? So explain all that.
Okay, we use surface water to irrigate with. MID does have some deep well pumps, and farmers do too. Most farmers have deep well pumps because they want frost protection in the spring or late winter, early spring when there's no water in the canals. Surface water is not available yet, so they do pump. Now, when I was talking about aquifers, I was talking about, I think I was referring to, since the water treatment plant went in at Modesto Reservoir, the aquifer in the city of Modesto has come up 30 feet.
Oh yeah, because they have
Because
a
they're
chance
not
to
pumping.
rebuild, right?
They've got to rebuild itself because they're not pumping as much water anymore, which is a marvelous, that's a great thing to happen. And farmers actually add to the aquifer when they're irrigating.
Yeah, because it goes back down into the ground.
Because it goes back down
Okay.
into the ground. So that surface water is not a total, it's not only used to irrigate crops, but it's also used to replenish the aquifer.
About how many acre feet of water does it take to irrigate 1 acre of?
1 acre foot per acre in a year.
So
It's the same
what,
amount that a family
is it really
would
this
use.
deep?
Yes.
So 1 foot. Okay.
Yeah, 1 foot. So on an average crop of almonds, say, well, like my son and I, we use about 24 inches of water, 2 feet of water
Okay. Per year, right?
per year
Okay.
to irrigate with. Now, all crops are different though. Like alfalfa, corn, irrigated pasture uses a lot more water.
Well, bottom line is we need our water.
We need our water for a lot of reasons. We need it because it's the most precious thing that we have. That's why this valley is what it is today. It's the greening of paradise is what happened. It used to be a desert. Our forefathers were smart enough to go up there and figure out how can we get water rights, which they did in the late 1800s. They built LaGrange Dam and completed it in 1897. They delivered their first drop of water to a farmer in 1904. Then they built the old Don Pedro Dam in 1924. And when they finished that, they were able to lengthen their irrigation season. Instead of cutting it off in July when they were out of water, they could lengthen the water season so their crop would last longer, their alfalfa would last, they could grow crops that lasted longer. And then they built the new Don Pedro in 1971, which holds 2,300,000 acre feet of water. 2,030,000 acre feet of water.
That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water.
But we need every drop.
We need every drop.
Where can we find you? On the internet or telephone number?
I have a telephone number that I like people to call me by telephone because I want to talk to them personally. And it's 480-6596. And it's on my flyers, and I carry that phone with me. So if there's any question at all, don't hesitate to call me. I have a website on the internet now that for this campaign. It's www.larrybyrdformid.com.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck at the election.
Thank you very much.